Hey guys, Sue's here. Welcome back for another What's for Dinner on Keto. These are easy keto meal recipes. We do 4 new ones every Sunday. This is just helps you figure out what to eat on a keto diet. Stick around, subscribe, check us out every Sunday. We got some good meals coming up for you guys. Let's get into the video. I wanna catch the wave. So to start with, I made this keto crusted buttery chicken casserole. Super easy. Start with just melted a few tablespoons of butter and added to that a little tablespoon of coconut flour, and we're just mixing that together, which makes kind of a roux. Every time I say roux, it makes me think of Jessica over at Jess and the Boys. Check her out if you haven't. Once I got that mixed up how I wanted, added a half a cup of chicken stock, a half a cup of unsweetened almond milk, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon xanthan gum just to thicken it. Of course, got my sea salt and my pepper in there, and we're just gonna cook this on down. We're making a condensed cream of chicken soup that is just homemade with none of the bad stuff in it. So after that is cooked down while it simmers, I melted some butter, took some crushed pork rinds and put them in the bottom of a casserole dish and just poured 3 tablespoons of butter on top. And I did go ahead and melt some more butter while I did this. Now I'm just mixing up my chicken filling. So cooled the soup a little, poured it into a mixing bowl, just shy of a cup of sour cream added to that. And then I had about 2 cups, probably more like 3 cups of diced chicken that I had just cooked in the Instapot. It was like 2 chicken breasts. And then this is about 4 slices of bacon crumbled, and I just added that all together and mixed it up. Then I'm just gonna plop it down on my pork skins. I really didn't measure my crushed pork skins. I will link the recipe. It gives you measurements. I had them left over from making chicken and waffles this past week, and I saved them in the fridge because raw chicken, you can't do anything else with them, but if you're gonna cook them, then you could use them. So I saved them for this recipe, and that's why I'm making this recipe. So I just took another few tablespoons of melted butter, mixed it with those, and then I'm just gonna use my hands to put that crumbly, awesome topping on my casserole. And then I just popped it in the oven on 325 for 35 minutes. And my husband absolutely loved this dish. I wasn't as big of a fan as he was. It's good, but this just isn't my kind of meal. It's just not what I prefer. So I didn't like it as much. I'll definitely make it again. It's very kid-friendly and very, very quick, especially if you pre-make the chicken. And I made the bacon just in the air fryer, 410 minutes. First time I ever tried it. Awesome. Highly recommend it. Moving on to one of my favorite meals of the week. This is a lemon and garlicky butter shrimp. I don't really know what to call it. Kind of a stir fry. I did base this on a recipe from Christina Sherrier. So to start with, I did olive oil and butter in a pan. Some people might think that's overkill, and by some people, I mean people other than me. So now I'm adding about 1 pound of shrimp to it, of course my salt and my pepper, and I'm very generous with the pepper. And I just sauteed those for a couple minutes just to get them nice and brown, and added a couple teaspoons of minced garlic. And we're just gonna continue cooking that down. Adding a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and then some red pepper flakes. And then I'm just gonna scoop my shrimp out into a separate dish. And while I'm doing that, I also pop some zucchini noodles, Zoodles, in the microwave just in a steam bag. Adding a couple more tablespoons of butter to my pan, some lemon juice, and 1/4 of a cup of chicken stock. And then I'm just going to cook that down a little. Add some sriracha to it. I just eyeballed it. Salt and pepper, yada, yada, yada. Once my zoodles were done, I just drained them, and then I'm just gonna add all of them to this sauce once it kind of cooked down a little. It's not very saucy, but you get the drift. Then I added my shrimp back and just combine them really well. And to plate this up, I did top it with a little shredded Parmesan Romano. Super, super good. This was my favorite meal of the week, I think, other than the meal my husband cooked. Next up, I needed to satisfy a craving, and I went on a search for this. This is Keto Cheeseburger Helper. All right, it smells just like Cheeseburger Hamburger Helper while it's cooking, and it is a recipe from Hey Keto Mama. I will link it down below. So, to start with, I'm just browning up about a pound of hamburger meat and then adding my seasoned mixture here. It's a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon onion powder, fourth of a teaspoon garlic powder, salt and pepper, all that goodness. Tablespoon of tomato paste and a fourth of a cup of water. Cooked that all the way down. Added about 2 cups of cabbage. I just used some coleslaw mix that I still had left in the refrigerator. And I mixed it up, and I did put a lid on it so that the steam could just wilt that down. While that was cooking, I started my cheese sauce. So a couple tablespoons of butter. That seems to be the theme of this week's meals, but isn't it always? And to that I added a half of a cup of heavy whipping cream and an ounce of cream cheese, and just let them melt and mix together. And once it bubbled up a little bit, cooked down some, I added a cup and a half of shredded cheddar to it, and then just whisked until it was like the texture of queso. And then I'm just gonna fold that into my mixture. And then I added a little bit more salt and pepper just to the whole dish, and just let it continue simmering and cooking on down. When I plated it, I did have a little bit of bacon left over from the bacon I cooked for the chicken dish, and I just had that crumbled in a dish in the fridge and plopped it on and topped it. This was very, very good and also kid friendly. Highly recommend. Moving on to the last meal of the week, and my absolute favorite, because my husband went and bought the steaks. He took the kids with him to the store. Didn't even use anything out the freezer. I was craving them, and so he went and got 2 beautiful, as you can see right here, Porterhouse Steaks. I get my love of those, honestly, from my mama and my daddy. And here are our usual suspects for our toppings. He made some loaded cauliflower rice on the side. My husband actually cooked these and filmed these clips all on his own. I'm super proud of him. Way to go, Ellie. Made me very happy. I think maybe I had to do a little cleanup, but I think he mostly handled all of this for this evening. So as you can see, we seasoned both sides of the steaks with the dry rub, and then add that Worcestershire. Worcestershire does have carbs in it, so you need to keep an eye on that. And then we just broiled these. He broiled these in about 5-minute increments until the temperature got to where we wanted them, and we like our steaks pretty medium rare. Here it is all plated up with a load of cauliflower rice on the side with the cheddar and the sour cream, and it's so good. Guys, if you like these videos and you want to see more, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below any recipe ideas you'd like to see us tackle for future keto meal recipe videos, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.